Hey, what's going on? Luke here. Every year I give my predictions at the start of the season and I talk about who's going to be minor premiers and all that sort of stuff. 9 times out of 10, let's be real, 10 times out of 10, it really doesn't go to plan. And it definitely hasn't gone to plan this year. But I thought we'd do like a little bit of an updated NRL ladder predictor. Thank you to the NRL. That actually one of the few things they do right is that they give us the ability to jump onto their site, go on the NRL ladder predictor, and come up with our own ladder and our own top 8. And you can do the finals and stuff as well. I'm just gonna do like the regular season. But you can go on there. You can do the actual like points margin and all that sort of stuff. But it gives you a very very up to date ladder prediction. So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. You'll see on the screen in 3, 2, 1, boom! It's on the screen right now. You can see my phone. This is exactly what I'm seeing. Round 22. We'll take a look at the current ladder as it is. So I'm just going to hit the current part. Obviously, it doesn't change because I haven't changed anything yet. But Broncos sit in first spot. Penrith in second. Warriors and Storm round at the top 4. We then have the Raiders, Cowboys, Sharks, Eels. Then the bottom, I was going to say the bottom 8, but the bottom 9, now we've got the 17th side. It is Rabbitohs, Knights, Manly, Roosters, Dolphins, Titans, Bulldogs, Dragons, and the Tigers. So I guess a big talking point is going to be the wooden spoon. It's going to be the top 8 and top 4. And I feel like with how close things are, you can see a lot of teams on 24, being the Rabbitohs, Eels. Essentially, you have like the top 2 are kind of cemented into the top 4, but you have the Warriors, Storm, Raiders all on 28 points. Then you've got 2 points below them, Cowboys and the Sharks. And then you've got the Eels and the Rabbitohs looking for a run. The Knights have been in pretty decent form at the moment. You got teams like the Roosters, who they're pretty far off, but also they're only a couple wins outside of the top 8 as well. So there's a lot of potential for this to change, and I'm intrigued to see how in a couple of rounds, like in my eyes, what's going to change. Who's going to drop in and out of the top 8. I think that's probably what's going to be the big talking point. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the first round, which is the current round coming up. And to be fair, probably after this round, you're going to see all these tips and predictions, and you're going to go, all right, this guy has no idea. But we already know I have no idea. So this is for a bit of fun. So we have the Broncos up against the Roosters for me. Home game. Well, it's at the Gabba, but it's in Brisbane. I'm going to go the Broncos to this one. I'm not going to worry about changing the margins. I know that's probably going to be a big talking point in terms of like the actual real life one, in terms of for and against, and obviously why teams are where they are. But I just, for the sake of the video, I'm not going to go around and be like, I think they're going to win by 24 or 30. I'm just gonna leave it at 12. If they win by 12. Sort of is what it is. There could be some close games, could be some blowouts, probably some blowouts based off like recent times, but let's just leave it. Next game, Tigers, Rabbitohs. I think Rabbitohs win that one pretty comfortably. Latrell Mitchell back. Storm, Eels, I think, tough one. It is a very, very tough one for me, because I think the Eels against the Storm, it's a tough game that the Eels seem to come out and win. But I'm gonna be smart here. I'm gonna go the Storm. So they actually move up a spot there for a little bit. You'll also see that like in real time, it will move them up and down the ladder. So that is something important. Raiders up against the Knights. Knights have been very, very good at the moment, but it is a home game for the Raiders. So I'm going to go the Raiders. Don't know if I'm going to predominantly pick a lot of the home sides, but actually no, that's definitely not the case. Seagulls over the Dragons there. Pretty comfortable with that one. Panthers, Sharks. I think Panthers win. I also think the Bulldogs win this one. I'm a biased Bulldog supporter, but I'm not so biased that like if I think they're going to get beat. But at the same time, I'll happily tip against my side. I'm kind of realistic at this point. I'm biased, but like a realist. I guess that doesn't make sense. But it is played in Bundaberg, so it's not a home game for either of these sides. But I think the Bulldogs, with the side that they've named and like the people returning, if they remain injury free, I think we can be somewhat competitive. And I don't think the Dolphins have been that good towards the back end. So gonna go doggies there. Titans, Cowboys. I think Cowboys, they've just found the form at the right time of the season. Intrigued to see where I have them finishing. They've actually moved up a spot. So who was there? So top 4 remains the same. Raiders are there. Cowboys are there. Rabbitohs move into the top 8. Eels drop out. Sharks just holding on barely. So that's round 22 done. Moving on to round 23. Roosters up against the Seagulls. I think SCG, I'm going to go Roosters for this one. I feel like Roosters might hit some form. I don't think did I tip them last or like this current week? No, I didn't, but taking on the Broncos. I wouldn't even be surprised if Roosters actually win that game, to be honest with you. But we have the Titans up against the Warriors. I think Warriors keep rolling. Although Titans, I don't know. Titans, the sort of side I think might give them a bit of a challenge there, especially at home. But I'm going to go Warriors, just play it smart there. Panthers to beat the Storm at home. I'm going to go... I'm going to go Cowboys. I'm going to go Cowboys for an upset. Oh, they're in the top 4 too. Cowboys for an upset there. I don't even know if it's big deemed an upset, but I feel like at this point, Broncos, I don't want to say they're going to drop off a little bit, but I just think like they're probably going to have their eyes on the finals. And, you know, I don't really think they care too much about the Minor Premiership. So I'm going to go Cowboys for that one and move into the top 4. Dolphins up against the Knights. That is, oh, it's in Perth too. I'm going to go Knights for that one. I reckon Knights will keep their form going for the rest of the season. Bradman Best has found form. Callum Pong has been going good. Hastings has found his home at the Knights. I really like what the Knights are doing at the moment. But yeah, as for whether they can keep it up for the rest of the season, remains to be seen, but they're going pretty well. Rabbitohs up against the Sharks. I think Rabbitohs are about to start a bit of a hot streak with the Troll back. You would imagine Latrell will still be back then. And Sharks, I think they're on the downward spiral, I think. I'm not sure if they're going to end up in the top 8 though. So I'm looking at the Sharks and thinking they're probably going to drop out, to be honest. Eels up against the Dragons. I think Eels win. Oh, and they just did drop out. So Eels just go to 8th with that win. Sharks drop out. Raiders up against the Tigers. Raiders win that one. And Bulldogs with the bye. So that is interesting. So already after 2 rounds, like this is what it's looking like. We look at the current one, which is the real one. So current, when you see the little green thing on there, that's the current one. This is the real ladder you're seeing. Now I'm going to take a look at my ladder 2 rounds later. Penrith in first spot. Warriors still in the top 4. Raiders in the top 4. You're kidding. Bloody Raiders there. Okay, that's interesting. Storm also dropping down a little bit as well. Rabbitohs going up. Sharks drop out. Knights in here and amongst it too. Look, it's more so just been a rearranging of a lot of these sides, but yeah, no, this has been quite interesting. Like a couple rounds, and we've seen some big changes. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to get all of these right, but I'm just sort of looking at favourites, and you know, maybe we might be onto something here. I don't know. Manly up against Panthers. What would this be? Round 24. Maybe Panthers might start resting some guys. It's at Brookvale. I think Manly would be a chance if they rest a couple of people, but also I think they've been resting players. So I'm going to go Panthers for that one. I feel like Penrith majority of the time I'm going to tip them. Sharks up against the Titans. It's a home game. I think Sharks be kind of desperate at this point. So I think up against the Titans, I think they'll just have a little bit more to play for. A lot more to play for, actually. Top 8 spot. I think Sharks win that one. Broncos up against the Eels. I think this is another one where the Eels have potential to really sort of take it to the Broncos. I'm going to go the Bronx just because I feel like the Broncos are still a top side. I don't think they're quite as good as like Penrith, but I think they're still a top side. And Eels sort of have a good team, but still without Dylan Brown and a few others, like they're not the Eels that you look back in like previous years and you go, all right, they're a proper threat. I think the Eels they're just okay. If they make the 8, they make the 8. If they don't, like I don't think it's too big of a loss for the competition or whatever. They're not really smashing at the moment. Speaking of teams who have got a pretty good draw, just by the looks of things, Rabbitohs, 5th spot. Dragons dropping down to 16th. Oof. Then you got Tigers, Warriors. I think this is, is it actually, it's in New Zealand by the looks of things? I'm going to go Warriors for sure. Warriors still clutching to that top 4 spot. Wow, okay. Warriors have got a really good draw going home. I already kind of knew it, but now I'm actually seeing it firsthand. This is quite interesting. Roosters up against the Dolphins. I think Roosters win this one. Roosters sort of coming home as well a little bit here. Then we have Storm up against the Raiders. The Storm at home. Raiders in the 4th spot. Doesn't feel like the Raiders are a top 4 side. Like I don't look at their Raiders side and I think top 4. Storm in the 7th. Like it feels like it should be kind of the opposite. And I think Storm will actually win this. Oh wow, one game and Storm go back into the 8. Okay, so there's not that much of a difference. McDonald Jones Stadium. Last time they played 66-0 to the Knights. I think Bulldogs win this one. Let me change the points. Can only go up to 48. No, I'm gonna go Knights. Knights in 9th spot. Knights are going pretty good. Cowboys got the bye. Nice for them. So, yeah, not too much change ladder-wise. I think that's pretty much the same. Going into round 25, we have 27 rounds too. So, interesting that the Broncos have the bye. So, that sort of keeps them up the top. Actually, a good time to have the bye too. So, good timing for them. You have to rest a few players before the finals. Cowboys up against the Sharks, 7th versus 8th. It's a home game for the Cowboys. I think Cowboys take this one out. They're in 4th too. And Sharks still stay in the 8. Okay, Sharks stay in the 8. I think Warriors win at home. Yep, I'm pretty comfortable with that one. Eels up against the Roosters. Wow, Eels up against Roosters. Wow, okay. Combank. This is probably like one of the tougher ones because I feel like they're very, very similar at this point. I think Roosters might have a bit more form going into this game. a little bit more momentum, possibly. I don't really have much to go off that one, but I feel like I'm tipping against the Eels. No, you know what? We're going... Nah, we're sticking with the Roosters. Sticking with the Roosters. Although, Roosters, I keep like picking them every single week. Nearly like every week, I'll pick the Roosters, and they just come out and disappoint me. Tigers up against the Dolphins. Dolphins to win that one. Although Tigers... Oh, you know what? I just changed it to Tigers. I don't know how I feel about this one. Tigers, Dolphins. Dolphins kind of falling off a little bit. Tigers trying to avoid the wooden spoon. Probably pretty desperate to avoid the wooden spoon. I'm just going to... You know what? Let's go Tigers. I can't believe I'm doing... Nah. Dolphins it is. Dolphins it is. Titans, Panthers. Panthers to win that one. I think pretty comfortably. Storm Dragons. I think Storm win it. Knights, Rabbitohs. I think Rabbitohs win that one. And obviously Raiders are going to beat my doggies. Not ideal, but is what it is. Dogs in 15th. Did we gain it? I don't understand that. Gain one? I don't know. Looking at that ladder. Okay, so top 8. Seas it stayed the same. Who's... Okay, so Cowboys and Storm. For and against wise, it could change. Obviously, I haven't been doing for and against, but things could change between Cowboys, Storm, Raiders. They're your ones there. I think Rabbitohs just left it a little bit too late, just based off, we've got 2 rounds to go. Panthers up against Eels. I think Panthers win that one. Warriors up against Dragons. They win. Second spot. Wow. Cowboys and Dolphins. I think Cowboys win that one. Although I would not be surprised if Dolphins win it. Just like a derby sort of game. I can see it happening. Storm Titans. I think Storm win this one. Roosters to win. Raiders up against the Broncos. Home game for the Raiders in a chance, like a time where they need to win. Keep the top 4. Could be quite desperate. Would not be shocked to see an upset there, but I'm just going to go the Broncos. Just play it safe. Bulldogs, Seagulls in 12th spot. I feel like Dogs normally have their little flurry home, so let's go the Doggies there. That's definitely the bias there. And Knights and Sharks. I think Knights, home game. I think Knights get going there. And Rabbitohs, wow, great timing for the Rabbitohs. Have a bye. Good timing going into the finals. Obviously, like they're not going to get top 4, but I don't know. Maybe they don't need it. And Roosters in the top 8. Wow. Roosters in the top 8, and I've got the Sharks dropping out. Okay, wow. Okay, Roosters sneaking in. Watch them have a bye next round. Who's got the bye? Eels have a bye. Poor Eels, man. No top 8 for them. No finals footy. So, last round. I'd have to imagine some of these sides are going to rest some people. I feel like Storm and Broncos could rest people, but Storm also need that top 4. So, Broncos, home crowd. Storm have a good record at Suncorp. Broncos possibly resting people, knowing they've got the top 4 wrapped up. Let's go Storm. Let's go Storm there. I think that's an upset. I think Manly beat the Tigers. Pro Tigers, 17th spot. What's that? 2 in a row for them. Rabbitohs and Roosters. I think the Rabbitohs win that one. Could also rest a couple players, but I think they win it. Dolphins, Warriors. I think Warriors... Suncorp. This could be a big one. Like, Warriors top 4. If they lose, do they drop out? I think Penrith win this one. Okay, so there's like no real changes there. I think Warriors would win that one. But, home game, Dolphins, last game of the season. Such a promising start. They end up in 13th spot by the looks of things. But, Knights, I think Knights win this one. Well, they're in 8th too. Wow. They're in 8th spot. Okay. Any Raiders? Do the Raiders drop out? Also, I can actually see the Sharks winning this one at PointsBet. Like, for some reason, like last game of the season, finish with a flurry again. I think Bulldogs win. This happened last year, right? Ended up doing this. It's just what the Bulldogs do every year. They come good in like the last couple of rounds, leave you a bit of hope. And I think they beat the Titans last year in a similar game. So that's what I've predicted for the finals. I have, obviously, like, if I went and did this tomorrow or did this next week, there's probably a couple of injuries and, things happening, people being rested and all that sort of stuff, and I'd probably come up with a complete different outcome. But that's what we've got. So let's have a look at, like, my ladder. So I have Panthers, minor premiers yet again. We have the Warriors in 2nd, Broncos in 3rd, Storm in 4th. Then we have Rabbitohs, Cowboys, Raiders, and the Knights rounding out the top 8. I definitely wouldn't have picked some of those sides in the top 8, let alone the top 4. Wooden spoon is the Tigers, who's like a shocking one. Roosters with like a little bit of a late flurry. Sharks kind of just sort of staying where they are, but the for and against, not for and against, but the points is just like so close that they miss out by 1 point. A draw for the Knights by the looks of things gets them home. So we'll compare that the current top 8 there to my one. Let's do the current one. So you can see a lot of changes, a lot of changes. We see the Sharks and Eels drop out. We see Warriors go up 1, Storm retain the top 4. Rabbitohs come in as well as the Knights. So quite a few changes there. In terms of the actual finals, who ends up playing like first round? So first round would see Penrith up against the Storm, Rabbitohs up against the Knights, Cowboys, Raiders, Warriors, Broncos. So I guess the Broncos maybe, like whatever one I said they would rest some players, maybe they won't, if they want a home final. But yeah, also like it's hard to predict this sort of stuff, like who's going to be playing. So that's what I've gone with. That's my top 8. Let me know in the comment section below, do you guys think this would be like anything near the actual top 8 by the end of the season? Do you think my tips and predictions are sort of on the money, or are they just complete garbage? Because I'm thinking garbage, but I'm just intrigued to see what you guys think. Anyways, I'm going to wrap things up here. That was my ladder predictor. Hopefully you did enjoy that one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, and you made it this far into the video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I have 15,000 subscribers. We're on the push for 20,000. I know it's sort of getting into the back end of the NRL season, but like if you made it to the back end of this video, surely leave a like. It really helps out the channel massively. Also, speaking of helping out the channel massively, shout out to all the current members and super chatters, seeing them on the screen right now. You guys have been so loyal to me. I've had Aurelius who's been donating memberships as well, so shout out to him. Also, speaking of donations, super chats, thank you to everybody who super chatted as well in my live streams. Been a little bit slack with the live streams, but we're hoping to get back to some regular streaming. Just been very tired at work, but looking to be trying to do that. So shout out to everybody who super chatted and became a member of recent times. Also, if you can go ahead and check me follow on social media, it's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke on YT. That's all of my social medias. Might have to give Twitter the flick. I'm not sure about that. Is it even Twitter anymore? Don't really know. They're changing all the logos and stuff, but we still got the old one on the screen. We're going to keep to that one. I'm going to stick to it. But guys, thanks for watching. Obviously, the finals are nearly here, so there's going to be plenty of videos, plenty of topics, and things to be talked about. So probably going to be doing that. Plenty of Rugby League Live full videos as well. So stay tuned for more content on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. See yous.